This weekend sees the Buy Art Fair arrive in the city for its second year. Over 350 artists and 80 galleries have been taking over this very building in an exhibition that promises to cater for a whole host of tastes and budgets. We went along to have a look at just some of the artwork on display, particularly those which have a very strong Manchester connection.
There's just so many people you can draw on from Manchester. I mean, what great names there are in all fields, really. Sport, of course. Look at music as well. Morrissey, the Smiths, the Joy Division, more recent bands. Include the Ting Ting, stuff like that. Stone Roses. The list just goes on and on. I really can't think of a city that has got so many people that you can draw from.
John, you probably know quite famously from being in the Stone Roses many years ago. Been making artwork for over 25 years now and was quite famous back then for the album covers, etc. What really interests me about John is he's a craftsman. He's a lot of contemporary artists now get other people to make their work. John's interested in technique. He's very passionate about layering and the texture of paints. He's interested in the medium in which he uses. And he's experimented in wax, in oils, in overlapping wax and oil together. So his work, as you can see, is very sort of textural and layered. He's now moved into kind of more scorching canvas. So you're getting works which are a kind of across kind of diversity, but he's interested in quite minimal, reductive processes, which have a really kind of strong resonance as an overall aesthetic.
I think historically a lot of musicians went to art school, and music is an art form. So, it's all part of a creative activity, that music is an oral thing, art is a visual thing. They work very well together. And for me, combining design and art is what I'm trying to do.
For the last couple of years, there's been a real penchant for culture, particularly in the Northwest, and a real desire for really contemporary, cutting-edge work. I was invited to commission an artist that I thought was really interesting and present it to this new, thirsty cultural audience in the Northwest. So I selected Nathaniel Mellors, who has made an amazing work which is here today. It's called the Tipp-Ex block, so this is a kind of Tipp-Ex-based sculpture which kind of erases itself. In Manchester, of course, you've got a plethora of different galleries. People want the same things that you can get in London, but they want to live in different places. So the regions are really stepping up to the mark in terms of the kinds of arts provision that they can offer, and it's really important that everybody has access to culture.
Oh, I think it's absolutely great. This is on the second year, I believe, here. A city like Manchester really should have an exhibition on like this. I'm really impressed with the work that's on here. There's all sorts of different styles, a lot of colourful works, a lot of just interesting works generally by a lot of international artists, I believe, and the prices are varied and definitely affordable. I mean, I'm just really impressed.
Looks very impressive, doesn't it? Well, as you can see, there are a lot of Manchester links at the event, particularly at the music scene. Well, joining me now to tell us all about it is one of the world's leading photographers, Kevin Cummins, and exhibition director, John Dare. Thank you very much for both of you for coming in, taking time out of a very busy few days for you both. Kevin, we're talking about the Manchester scene, and you must have spent a lot of time, photographing and doing artwork for Manchester bands like the Smiths and Oasis. Manchester's got a big music culture, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to promote a book which came out last week with Faber and Faber, which is it's ostensibly a career retrospective, really, but just on my Manchester work. And I moved away from Manchester 23 years ago, but people still think I live here because I've photographed every band from Manchester. I seem to spend most of my time up here anyway. And
is there a particular piece of artwork that perhaps is the most iconic for you, or one of your favourite pieces, maybe?
I think it becomes iconic for other people, really. The Joy Division photographs, obviously, have become incredibly well known, as have maybe the Stone Roses covered in paint and various other pictures that then define that band.
We can see some of your artwork there. Where does your inspiration come from?
I think you feed off each other. I think I like to work with creative people, and I think I can add something to them. I can add to the perception people have of the band, and they get something back from that. So, you know, it generates its own interest, really.
Is the one that you're most proud of?
You
What
keep
your
asking,
favourite?
I've got lots of favourite pictures. I'm incredibly proud of the book, and I'm incredibly proud of the body of work, and it's a 400-page book. And my agent said, you should have, you know, thinking of the money, obviously, said you should have done it in 4 volumes. But, I did it in 1 volume. It's there, and it's there for everybody, and it's great. And I'm signing them very soon, actually.
I mean, it's very hard to pick a favourite, isn't it, when there's so much on offer for you to look at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm particularly pleased with people like Paul Stolper Gallery, obviously showing Kevin's work. I mean, it's nice to see it in Vivian Gaskin, we've mentioned as well. But for me, personally, I particularly like the 3rd floor that we've got up there, and people should take time to visit that. But that's a collection of really cutting-edge contemporary galleries, but just about the best in the UK that are out there at the moment. And I think there's some quite challenging work, but it's a good thing. Whether you like it or not, you know, it's good to have a look at it.
And this is the 2nd year, isn't it? How have you, I mean, this is probably a question for both of you. How have you seen the artwork change, not only in your gallery, but also over the many years that you've been working in it?
Well, I didn't come last year, but this year I was impressed. And I was particularly impressed with the 3rd floor because it was more like the Frieze Art Fair in London. And I think the great danger you've got of doing things out in the regions is that people think it's provincial. But I think it will surprise a lot of people when they go and have a look at some of the work there, because it's definitely not a provincial vibe at all.
So John, tell us where, when do people need to go along to have a look at some of the fantastic displays?
Well, I mean, they can come down from Saturday morning, really. We'd love to see them. You know, it's open till 7 o'clock, so, yeah, you can register online or you can turn up. It's free if you register online, or it's £5 on the door.
John, all the very best with the exhibition, and all the very best, of course, with the book, Kevin. Thank you very much for coming in this evening for us.